Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to video 4C in the series. This is going to be the last episode on components where we're going to go ahead and create a custom component using the two Python scripts that we made, the screen changer and the audio. So let's get right into it. First thing we're going to want to do is navigate into the folder, and we're going to drop these two prerequisites into it, another rickroll and a blue mist. So we're going to navigate into the QML images icons, and we're going to go ahead and throw in the blue mist. Now we're going to go ahead and create the directory for our new button. So we're going to go into custom components, go into buttons, and we're going to create another folder here called transparent button. So I like my buttons transparent. The reason being is I like to display the text as a video, so I'll get like a particle flow to it. And then I'll overlay a transparent box over that will, when highlighted, will show an image, and that image will be that blue mist. And then alongside that, also playing audio for when it's hovered and when it's clicked. And you can change this if you want. If you want text on the button from the component, or if you want the image, another image to be static on it, you can always edit this QML. Really, the sky's the limit. So let's go ahead and create our QML for this. And in here as well, we need the images, and we're going to throw in that Rickroll 3 image for it. Now real quickly, we're going to want to navigate over to the QML directory, and we're going to want to add that in. So we're going to add in transparent button, and that's going to be in buttons slash transparent button slash, and then this once more. We'll just type it out. There we go. Okay, now that this is added, we're actually going to close out of this and go into the designer. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up in VS Code. It's a little easier to work with. And so, okay, so we're going to be in the custom components in the meta info. And we're going to go ahead and make another type. Type is pretty much the information that's showed for the image and the tooltip and stuff for the GUI. So we're going to go ahead and create this again with a type. And then within the type, we want the item library entry. Okay, so the name, we're going to kind of follow just like the top one. We're going to go into custom components, buttons, then we're going to go into transparent button, and then go into transparent button again for the QML. And then we're going to add the icon, which is string. And we're going to back out a directory because this is relative now, and go into buttons, and then go into transparent button, into images, and that was Rickroll 3, I believe. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start filling out the library entry. So we're going to give it a name. This is going to be the transparent button. We're going to give it a category. And a quick note here while I still remember. If you look inside of our custom components and you don't see a category showing up like buttons, category won't show up unless you have more than one category. So because these both are in buttons, that won't actually show until there's something else in the category. But if you add something else, you will see it. So we're going to go ahead and add the library icon, and that is going to be the same as this icon because we don't have a smaller image of it. Give it a version, required import, oops, make sure that's right. And we're going to go ahead and give it a tooltip. Also, on a side note, don't forget this last second quote here, or you're going to spend the next 3 hours trying to figure out why your script's not working. Okay, so now that we have the QML, or that we have the meta info done. Okay, so we have the button in, that's in. So now we're pretty much at the point of editing the QML. So I'm going to navigate back to here and again go into the command prompt and go ahead and go into VS Code, and we're going to open up that button. And we're going to start creating this button. So we're going to want to import QtQuick 2.15, import QtQuick.controls, and at the core of our button is going to be an item, and within the item we're going to call the ID root. We're also going to give it a width and height of 75. Reason being is when you import the component, this is what it will be set as, and then you can change it to whatever you like as you have your imported version, but they will all start at width and height of 75. Now we're going to go ahead and create our variables. So we're going to create a property variable on pressed action, and that's going to be set to null. Then we're going to create some property strings, and I'm going to copy this because we're going to be doing a lot of property strings here. Then we're going to want an onEntered image, and we're going to set that to our file location. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, but that's going to be in the images folder that we created in icons. If you didn't name it this way, just add a slash and then add your images, and then wherever your icon's going to be, or wherever you put that blue mist, and then follow it up with another slash. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do another property string here, and this is going to be the onEntered audio. So this is going to be kind of the same thing, but this just reminded me we actually need to go make an audio file or a folder. We don't actually have that yet. So I'm going to navigate back into the main project folder, into the QML, and we're actually just going to copy this and create a new folder and call this audio and copy that name. So we're going to go back into here, and this one is going to be the audio file, just like so. Copy string again, come down here. Oh, I actually forgot the slash here. Okay, so now we're going to do the onExited audio. And that's pretty much this guy. Then we're going to do another one of these. And this time it is going to be the onPressed and onReleased audio. I'm just going to type this one out. Okay, so we have our onEntered image, we have the onEntered and exited audio, and we also have the onPressed or released. Entered and exited refers to the mouse, and when it actually enters and exits the bounding width and height of the box. We're going to want a couple other variables in here, and I'm just going to actually fully copy and paste these one. This one just gets you to your relative path, and then we're going to create another one down here. This is going to be another variable, and this will be the image path, and we're going to make this a slash. We're going to concatenate the project file location to it, and then we're also going to concatenate the onEntered image. Okay, so let's go ahead and start making this. So the first thing we're going to want is the image folder. This is going to be the information for when you hover over the box. So we're going to give this an ID, and we're going to call this button image. We're also going to give this a width and a height, which is going to be set with anchors. So we're going to do an anchors.fillParent, which pretty much means that this image will have the same width and height as the item itself. And below that, we're going to add a source to it, which is going to be image path. And we're going to give it a visibility, which is initially going to be set to false. Okay, so let's move on to the actual mouse area. And within the mouse area, we're going to want to go ahead and give it an ID, which we're just going to call button area. We're going to, again, anchors.fill parent. We're going to say hover enabled is true, so that hovering now works. And then we're also going to give it some accepted buttons. Oops. And that's going to be the qt.left button. And then we're going to pipe into qt.right button. So now left and right click are now accepted within the mouse area. Okay, so now within the mouse area, we're going to do an onEntered. And when the mouse enters the box, the first thing we're going to want to do is go into an if statement and say if root.onEnteredImage does not equal blank. And if it does not equal blank, then what we're going to do is we're going to say buttonImage.visible is going to be set to true. We're going to come down here for another if, and we're going to say if the root dot, gosh, what am I doing? If the root dot on entered audio does not equal, and we're going to copy and paste this into it, which is pretty much mean blank. If there's nothing set within the on entered audio, then we'll go into that if, and that if, we're going to go into another if, which is going to say if type of audio player does not equal undefined. I'm hitting enter too much. And audio player does not equal null. So this is pretty much just saying if it exists. And we'll go into that if. From here, we're going to do one more if, and that's going to be if type of audio player dot play audio and is equal to a function. And we'll go into some brackets there. So here's what we're doing. When we enter the box with the mouse, it's going to see if it has an image assigned. If it does, it's going to show it. Then it's going to come down here and say if you have something filled out in the audio, then it's going to come down here and say if the audio player backend was actually created, and then it's going to come down here and say if the audio backend was created and it has this function. So if all of those conditions are met, then we're going to go ahead and access the audio player class, and we're going to access that play audio function, and we're going to pass in the project file location plus the root.onEntered audio. So now we are playing that. Now we're going to come right off this, and we're going to come in with an else. And within this else statement, we're just going to do some prints so we know what's going on. So this is the error for the audio function itself. And what that print's going to be is play audio function not found within the play audio class. And we're going to come down to the second one, which is the other if, and we're going to do another else statement. And from here, we're going to say